Welcome to another episode of Tactical Tuesday. We're part 2 of Deconstructing S55, which is the Fire Brigade, a training scenario that I was conducting. Here we are completing, we're analyzing what was going on during the game. Errors made by both sides, good things made by both sides. So things to take apart from your particular vlogs that you want to have, your Vassal logs. And just routing rears its ugly head again, as it should in every single game. Shot selection, player tendencies, which is not going to be in any rule book that you're going to read. Understanding player tendencies and what you can get away with. Huge part in this game. Huge part. If you don't believe it, watch the video. Anyway, we cover those areas. A couple other things to join in. If you want to help support the channel, support the network, we're on ASL Skills on the Discord server. I'll put a link below. If you want to join that, you're free. I have other links all over the place. They should be good forever and ever till the internet fails. Join up the Discord server there. We are on Tuesday, 17:30 Pacific Daylight Time. Join us there. Bring your logs. Bring your open mind. Bring your questions. We'd love to have you. Enjoy the video. Play it 2 times. And then if there comes a spot that you hear, oh, what did he say there? Slow it down to normal or slower or whatever. Then continue from there. 2 times should be fine. 1.5 easily done. That way, maximize your time. It doesn't waste a lot of your time. All right? If you don't like it, turn the video off. Find another video. Take care. We'll see you at the end. All right, gentlemen, you ready? It should be set up to the beginning of Russian turn 3. And the next two rounds are pretty inconsequential in terms of kind of changing up the landscape, but there are lots of little things that go on and things that continue from the previous round that we can learn and build on. I make more mistakes in these 2 turns as well. All right, so last session we talked about how the prime objective of the Romanians, in my opinion, is to delay them getting to their ultimate objective, which is the backboard. If they want to try and stop the bottom board, I think that's a potential. But if you want to do that, then I would suggest if you want to play the Romanians, and if you want to stop the Russians from getting a number of buildings in the bottom, if you want to do the building defense on the bottom, what do you think would be a good idea, a good method in doing that, just straight off the top? What's the easiest method? Like, if you just want to stay on the bottom and harass the Russians as much as you can, what's the most effective means of actually harassing them? What do you guys think? If you wanted to harass me as the Romanians, instead of firing at 3+3, 2+3 all day, how would you harass me?
Cover the roads, huh? With your cover the roads with firepower and just keep the Russians, basically just wait for them. They'll eventually have to move out in the open, right?
Yeah, eventually. But what in terms of either defending or taking some of these buildings back? Because the Russians have tons of guys. If you fire once, he breaks. Like I had my unit destroyed in J4. He killed my unit in J4 with like a 3. All of his kills have been on super low rolls, but you really don't want to rely on the super low rolls to win the game for you. Simply because they don't come all that often. But anyway, he rolled a good shot, a 6 even shot on J4, and he got a K3 or something, like K2 or K1. Killed the house squad. But if I had like 2 or 3 squads, he gets 1 shot and everyone else gets across. So how would you defend against that sort of essentially onslaught? Because this is literally a Russian wave of units. This is a Russian, essentially human wave without the human wave rules. So if you want to defend the bottom as the Romanians, if you would change anything at all, would you change anything? If not, say I think I would do just like the setup suggests, or I would try to do something different. Does anyone else have any thoughts of what they have? It's, again, it doesn't really matter. It's all based on your game plan, and if let's assume the game plan is to defend 4 of those buildings. How would you change your game plan, if you would? Just a quick thought out there. How about concentrated fire? So as you guys have watched, like if you watch the replay, the live replay, or the replay, videos, pretty much we just sit down on the bottom, we fire 2+3, 4+3 shots, 4+4 shots all game. Well, those are stupid shots, to be honest with you. Those shots don't really get anything done unless you roll super low, and you're going to get, in this game, you're going to get maybe 10 shots. Yeah, you might get one shot, but if he passes the morale check on that, it's no big deal. So that's kind of what it devolves to down here. Now, again, the Russians really don't really care about these bottom buildings, so if the Romanians want to defend these bottom buildings, that's fine, because the Russians will get the top building. So again, I'm just trying to find a purpose for when you guys are looking directly at this, what the purpose, essentially what the purpose of the Romanians is in this situation. If you could define that, that's fine. If you think you know what the strength is of this, that's fine. Because I just, you know, at some point, and we'll cover it later in the turn, about if you want to stay down on the bottom here, what's your objective in staying at the bottom? You know, is it to destroy, delay, prevent units from getting into buildings and then counterattacking later? At what point do you make your move as the Romanians? Because the Russians are going to get the buildings right above you in the M5, K4, L3, possibly even P2. All those buildings are easily accessible to the Russians in like another half a turn. So at what point do you as the Romanians counterattack those buildings? That's the kind of thought pattern of what I was thinking going through this, and that's why my units in K7 to cover that road in case he wants to start retreating. At least I have the road covered. So if he wants to defend those other buildings, that's fine. He's going to be taking a shot. Same thing with the M9 unit, a 347 and M9. If he wants to retreat, he's going to be taking a shot. J10 units, he's like I said before, J2 units pretty much worthless unit at this point. 4+3 shot, not great. Not really what you want, and at this point he's kind of served his purpose. Well, kind of served a subtle purpose, although he hasn't done anything, in trying to keep Q'd off in J1 from getting essentially where he got to. But he, you know, he interdicted, routed there, which was fine. You know, I have no problem with that. And now essentially Bogrov's purpose now has to change. I didn't in the game make any changes to his purpose, so therefore pretty much I threw a leader, a medium, and an elite half squad elite unit away, as well as the half squad or the full squad that's over in H9. My sort of deer in the headlights view on Bogrov essentially threw away 1.5 squads plus that extremely valuable leader. In my opinion, that leader could be used better served into maybe K7 to give him more movement factors, that in case you want to do a dash somewhere, maybe cut route pass. You know, I'm not really going to be breaking anything with the units that I have on the bottom part of the board where the Romanians are. So his usefulness has been minimized, which is an error that I've made. You know, that 370 is doing nothing. The medium at this point now is doing nothing. The 248 is doing nothing. You know, least of all, I could run Bogrov across the street. So what if the 347 shoots him? He's going to kill him? Nah. Not unless he rolls like a snake eyes or 3. You know, is that going to happen? It could happen, but it's not going to happen like, you know, 89% of the time or 93% of the time or some bullshit like that. So I'm going to get to my unit. He's not going to DM him up there, or better yet, let Bogrov get him. Let Bogrov get to H9, and then defensive fire on H9 to DM the unit to essentially waste Bogrov's move. Right? Don't fire on Bogrov. If Bogrov moves to I-10 and then goes over here, don't fire on him here, because if you miss, he's going to rally the unit next turn. Fire on him after he gets here to DM the unit, because that'll be a 1+1, which is enough to DM a unit. Well, which is enough to get a normal morale check on a unit without cowering off the chart. So therefore, it will DM, and therefore he essentially won't rally until the turn or two after. So the point there is not to fire on screw Bogrov. You want to stop him from doing what he wants to do, and that's rallying that unit. DM the unit. Bogrov's turn is wasted. So again, I think the bottom units, in my opinion, have been thrown away on essentially on both sides of the map. The 447 and K7 is the most valuable piece down there right now, simply because he's covering 2 roads, you know, and we'll deal with the guy here in the middle, and then we'll just go ahead and get started. It's kind of like a preemptiveness. The Germans have come on. Let me remove these moves. Have come on. He's established positions on the hill for the time being, and established positions on the left-hand side. I do like his positioning over here, even though I don't like him moving over there. I think he's got great coverage on that side. Not a problem. So yeah, I mean, he's covering sort of like the open ground approach, which is not bad. You know, he's doing what he needs to do. Kroger's taking the obvious position with the LMGs, also covering it. So it's pretty well covered. I mean, it is there. I'm not sure what Koenig's doing over here in U5. He can't fire at anything at the lower elevation, at the lower elevations. He can only fire at the regular elevations. And at that point, you know, W6 might be slightly more valuable, simply because most of my units on the bottom are on the left-hand side of the map. And, you know, if I continue my pattern of moving forward, I'm most likely going to approach from the left-hand side. And W6 might give him a slightly better opportunity to fire something on the left. But I'm sure he's trying to protect the right flank, but you know, I have 0 units over there. If I'd penetrated deep in the village, then yeah, absolutely 100% to cover the approach on the right hand side. But there's nobody over there. You know, I don't know why this unit's going to be there. If anything, move into the buildings. U2 is a much better position. But that might be a little bit too far forward, as you will see this turn. All right. So Elkin, tell me, does Elkin have LOS to J1? Your thoughts? Elkin, my 9-2. Does he have LOS to his 8-1 unit?
My initial guess is yes, because it bisects the I1 H1 side, and I think you're just going to be just off to the north of it.
Does anyone agree with Mark? Does anyone think it's blocked?
No, I think it's free. I think as I said, I think he's intersecting. Your line of sight's going to intersect the I1 H. Hold on, I can't quite see it.
I1 H1. I1 H1, yeah.
Yeah, it bisect that hex side, and I think as the line kind of goes, it's going to just clear it.
Oops. So he's going to bisect that right there. Does everyone see that? Does everyone see that LOS? Does everyone understand that LOS is going to be bisected right at that hex side? It's okay if you don't understand. Say, I had no clues to. I know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, or you're full of it. So it's fine. It's fine to have those thoughts. Again, this is an open forum. No one's going to be laughed at or criticized or put down based on right or wrong answers. There are no right or wrong answers. There's just discussion. And so spotting things.
I saw your geometry of ASL earlier in the week, and I think Mark's analysis is spot on. But I think that northernmost corner of the building in H1 is going to catch it.
It's just going to nick it?
Yeah, I think it'll be enough just to block it. It's not going to be by much, but no, your analysis is spot on. That's exactly where I would have thought the line of sight would have crossed. Between I1 and H1.
Right. So right there, you're gonna take the LOS, because you know if the bisection from I1 to H1 is gonna pop J1. So that's not it. The issue is the intersection right here. So can you see a clear?
Are you using circles? Because I'm not seeing anything. Maybe I need to.
Yeah. I'm using a pup tip, but I have no other no regular circles. I'm just doing it on the regular map for the thing, because there's no circle. It's going to bisect right where my cursor is. I guess, let's see, do you see a pen? And when I switch to a pen, do you see a pen?
I do not. Of course, I'm on Vassal. Should I be synced?
No, as long as you're synced here, it's fine. So, you don't see a pen. So H1, I1.
Okay, I see
that
that
intersected,
yeah.
That's what we're looking at right there.
Yeah.
So the only LOS you need to take is from the G1 to that point there. And also you have to, what you can do is you can take a theoretical line, like if that's unclear to you, then you could take a line from this half side to that half side, and that'll be like a trapezoid. Take it right between the halves. And if you know that's going to be clear, then you know G1's going to be clear as well, because it's going to be a slightly higher elevation. It's close, but I think it's clear. I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yep.
It's close.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely close. But what?
But this brings up the fabulous point that I have with starter kit maps, and that is like they're porous, but there's always points where you just kind of go, you just can't seem to judge it.
Right.
It's like, do you assume, okay, I know all the maps are porous, so do I
Right.
sites are clear, or is it just going to nick that corner? And is it that because I'm just using a slightly thicker string, or or what?
Yeah.
It's like it can be very annoying sometimes when you're looking at some of the starter kit ones, which I suppose is easier than dealing with the ASL. Okay, I'm at height 4. There's a level 3 obstruction 9 hexes away, so.
Yeah.
Right.
Where how many blind hexes does that cast? Oh, is the full moon out? That sort of
Exactly. So if you think it's going to be close, what you need to do is you need to take an imaginary line. In this case, you guys can't see it here, but you need to take an imaginary line and draw it between G1 H1. There, where their dot is the center there, and then I1 H1. There's a dot there. What that do is that'll create a trapezoid. Take that line across and just visually kind of inspect that. If it's super close, which this one is pretty close, just take that straight line across there, and because what that'll do is that'll give you probably like a better angle. That'll give you like the worst angle that you can have on it. And if you think it's way above that, then it's probably going to be blocked. But yeah, it's close shot for sure.
Stu, can you draw the trapezoid? Have you got like a pen capability? Can you actually draw the trapezoid you're talking about?
You won't see it on Vassal.
Oh, okay. All right, then don't worry.
I've got the trapezoid. I've got the trapezoid in the OBS. But
okay.
Yeah, it won't be dropped on Vassal.
Okay.
So, but anyway, yeah, it's just it's like a line bisecting the middle of H1. Just raise it up between the halfway points. You'll see it right in the beginning. And the same sort of thing, I think I noted a little bit. But yeah, it's close. I'm not really concerned about that shot. There's no way in hell I need to fire at him with 1,000 other units in the vicinity. He's never going to prep fire. Elkin is never going to prep fire on Qdoff. Why is that? What's his purpose? What's Elkin's purpose? Move. Get the hell up on the building. Get the hell up there and see what we can do about the Germans. Prevent the Germans from really doing anything. Because we're stronger than any German stack up there. And we have 1,000 units in the bottom to take care of Qdoff. All right. Sorry, those are some things. So self-rally. It's rally phase. The Russians' turn. We self-rally. Which unit are we going to self-rally? The unit in F2? Or the half squad in F2? Or the full squad in H3? Which one would you self-rally and why? Or wouldn't self-rally and why? Regardless. Either way.
The percentage shot would be the one in F2. That's going to give you your better mass up front as you go up against the first wave of Germans.
Right. This unit's far stronger. This unit's a 628. He's 3 times the strength. You don't want to self-rally him?
Percentage shot is not going to be with me. I mean, that's going to be a bloody miracle to get him up.
Right. When is he going to rally?
Next turn.
Define next turn.
Excuse me, next rally phase.
There you go. So in the Romanians' rally phase, so he'll be up and ready when the Russian turn comes along.
Yes.
Right? Does everyone see that? We don't necessarily need to rally this unit right now. Again, by John's description, that it's a low opportunity chance. We're moving now. This unit can self-rally fairly easily. Needs a 7. Not bad. And then he can get up, and he's a half squad. He can get up and start doing some damage. Do what half squads do. This unit's out of it. We have plenty of units behind him. We have a 628 below him. with an LMG. We've got some 4.47s, 4.58s. He's got some buddies up there. There's no threat to that unit from anyone, and there's no threat of him taking a shot. Why, when this unit loses DM, do we not care about him being DM'd again? This has got nothing to do with the game. It's got everything to do with the meta game. Why is this unit not going to be DM'd when he loses DM?
Nobody's in range.
Let's say Qdolf. Okay, let's go to the rally phase. Qdolf will rally. Remember, he rallies this unit here. So,
okay.
is he going to fire at this unit here, based on his previous actions?
No, he's going to try to slow down the mega stack because he's keyed in on the 9-2.
Right, right. So, there's no threat of this unit even being DM'd based on what we know of the enemy player. Right. Because he hasn't fired on guys in open ground. He hasn't fired on a leader with 2 squads in broad open ground. He's looking for key targets. If we don't give him those key targets, it's unlikely that he's going to fire at all. And we see that this turn. So, yes, I agree. Half squad, full squad. We have Garen down. Oops, what the hell? We have Garen down here. That's where Garen's going. Right? Garen's going directly to that guy. He's going to rally him next turn. And this guy over here has got Camkin on the left-hand side. That if he doesn't rally now, if deemed reasonable, Camkin can run over there and rally him if we need it. If we take lots of broken units, Camkin will have to divert to get our force back up and running, and Garen will do the same thing here. We need a 628 up and running. 628's a pretty major key. So let's just burn through the not much rally phase here. Oh, he advanced up there. That's why he CX'd. Self rally was a 10. Lose the DM. Comes to his turn to rally. He of course rolls a 4. What he needs. I prep fire again. Wasted attempts. 4+3. 4+3. Pretty much garbage shots all around. Movement phase. What do we know of the enemy so far? What do we know that he doesn't want to do?
He doesn't want to take a shot at single units moving in the open. He's going to looking for the big stacks and the high value leaders. Right.
And he's commented because he's held his fire like forever. And he's commented thinking that Elkin's going to cross the street. I'm going to wait for Elkin to cross the street to get to X1, X2 because that's a big stone building and that's a good place to be. I don't give a shit about stone buildings because I'm aggressing. I'm not going to be defending, and this stone building here pretty much doesn't exist for almost any purpose in the game. There's going to be no fighting over this building at all because he's got no Romanians in the area. No Germans are coming down for damn sure. So this building, for all intents and purposes, does not exist. So it's not a quote objective needed to be taken by any stretch of the imagination. Right? We're essentially just going to be passing by, just like we're passing by H1 and happen to control it. Passing by I3, happen to control it. They happen to be victory point hexes, but those are not what we're looking for. We're looking for these bastards back here. This is all we're focused on. This guy is secondary. This guy's about a 25% want to get, but typically if you get one, you might get both. But that's the plan, is I have to count on getting both of these instead of this one here. But we'll see how I screw that plan up. So, movement phase comes. Because we know he likes to target very high valuable targets, what am I going to do with my squads? For those that cheated and probably had seen the video, I'm going to move right in front of his face to either, quote, bait his shot out, but am I actually baiting his shot out when I'm moving, knowing that he will not fire? Do you think I'm actually baiting his shot out?
No.
What do you think I'm doing, Nut?
I'm not exactly quite sure, but I know you're not baiting him. Oh, you're trying to get on the road to go up for
Yeah, I'm just simply burning by this SOB, right? I know he's not going to fire, so for all intents and purposes, he doesn't exist. I'm just going to run by him. And let's see what happens. And that's exactly what I do. I said, 248 goes up there, don't really care about the residual. What's the attack right there, gentlemen? When my 248 moves... Can he assault move up into H5? Question number 1. Can he assault move into H5, the 248?
No, it'll take all of his movement factors.
There you go. So he cannot assault move regardless. Even though that's the only hex he can go without CXing, he cannot assault move there. So that's a non-assault movement into a wooden building And what? So that'll be a 1 firepower because the residual attacks first before anything else. Sorry, it's dry here. 1 firepower, and it's going to be +1 from the building because you do get TEM. Non-assault movement, -1. Building +2. 1 + 1. Don't really care about that. I'm 8 morale. I'm God. So we're just going to walk right through that and ignore it. 447 up here. Again, what's wrong with this picture? Tell me what's wrong with this picture, gentlemen. What do we cover? What do we see right in the beginning about these guys here? Are they covering my approach? Are they covering that approach?
Well, I mean, under normal circumstances, sure. But you just don't think he's going to bother firing at them?
No. What's the risk? What risk am I facing there? Again, every time you move, you have to think about what risk you're looking at.
Well, you're looking at.
What's the weakest Russian unit?
Yeah, you're certainly looking at a 1-2 from the 248.
Right.
And you're looking at possibly even more than that. Hold on, I'll take a look.
Right, it'll be a 4-2 on the other side. Should I be moving the 447 there initially? Do I expect him to be surviving like 1 morale checks? No. Right? Remember, the weakest units are the 447s. I kind of need to preserve those and take my morale checks, take those first fire shots with my 458s. Or if you want to think backwards, hey, let bait him with the 447s, and then my 458s will survive any subsequent first fire potential because that'll be a half firepower. I kind of like, you could balance it one way or the other. You're going to have a high percentage chance of surviving subsequent first fire with high morale units, but a moderate chance of surviving with your 7 morale, right? Whereas if I reversed it, they kind of balance out, where like a 4-2 versus a 458 is pretty much the same thing as a 2-2 versus the 447, because you're only dropping down 1 column, and so you've got 1 less morale. So essentially you're equalizing the risk for both units. Whereas if you want to throw your 447 out there initially, he's going to be taking all the risk and have a higher likelihood of breaking, and then your 458s come right behind him saying, ha ha ha, oh, everyone's first fired. Your firepower is so low, you got to roll 3s to do anything against me anyway, and here I am in your face. That is definitely another technique you can use for sure. So maybe I was thinking that. I'm going to say I wasn't, because I probably wasn't. Initially, I was just thinking, move the 458s. We're gonna take all game just to take that. The 447s are just kind of like, the 447s are a feint, thinking that I'm gonna send 4 to 5 squads up in that area, and then I was gonna shift them all right. But you'll see what happens. I gotta get paid for trying to be fancy. So he does break him quite easily with a 1-2 shot. Not worried about that. Again, rolling a 4. This unit CX. How much residual is left in this hex by the 248 shot? Did we? Yeah, 0. I'm not sure why this 0. Why is that?
Long range 0.
Yep. 1 firepower, half of 1 is 0. That's 5 hexes. Let's continue from here. So again, my apologies. Back at queued off in the middle. This is talking about player tendencies. H1 actually moves first. He goes to, I think he goes from H2 to H1, and then he goes into I1 to bait / ignore him, and then he goes to Y1, knowing that he's just not going to fire on him. That also reinforces the idea that, okay, obviously I don't 100% know that he's not going to fire, right? I mean, you just don't kind of know that. So, but this kind of guarantees it, because where are most of my forces going wanting to be going? Probably through I1 to get to the woods, to over here. You know, that's a pretty much a major intersection. I2, it's kind of there too, but I1's a big one for these guys, and maybe this guy or this guy to get up through the area. So, pretty decent spot to fire. If he doesn't want to fire there, that's fine. Next unit, I say, okay, he's not going to fire. We simply move him forward as well. Boom, boom. Runs right by him, waves as he's sitting at the cafe, and he just kind of ignores it. Again, point blank shot. A second point blank shot, not taken. So guess what happens on the weakest units, mind you. These are almost guaranteed breaks at that point. That's a 6-3. That's a 6-3. That's a guaranteed break, almost probably a kill. I mean, that's a reasonable kill. I mean, a 4 is probably going to be a kill on that chart. Excuse me. So that's a kill, and then he could subsequent first fire. Guess what? At 2 hex range, because, you know, this guy's gone at that point. So next unit will move the 628. This is the major bait. This is the ultimate. This is the final exam of whether or not he's ever going to shoot at my units. 628 LMG right in his face. If you don't deal with this guy, he's going to put some major hurt on you. I don't care what you say. That's an 8+3 from 1 unit in the advanced fire phase. That's pretty damn strong. No fire. Then I do my other moves over here. Break. We covered this already. The other 628, knowing that he's not going to fire because he didn't fire at the guy with the LMG. Why the hell is he going to fire at the other guy without the LMG? You know, you could argue, hey, he's going to wait for the 4 hex range shot and then final fire adjacent. I don't like that because he's giving up the -2, and the -2 was his entire game plan at the beginning of the game. You're giving up that -2, which is pretty strong against 8 morale units. So a 6-1 instead of a 6-3. That's the same thing as saying it's a 12 chart versus a 6 chart. So I wouldn't give that up, in my opinion. Those guys break. This guy breaks over here. Move another unit. Garrett moves to again. And we did cover this. I moved to this location in E4 and not to F3. Why? We actually saw the light. Why do I move to E4 versus F3?
Be a long range shot.
Long range shot. Minimize the damage. It's one less column, one little column, but sometimes that's all it takes. And if he breaks, he can still route to F4 anyway because it's not going to get any closer to this unit. So minimize the shot when you don't need to take that risk, because I don't know if he's just going to be targeting leaders at this point because he's obviously not shooting my squads. You know, so it's like, oh, I don't want to move there. Maybe he's looking for my leader. Again, still 90% sure that he's not going to be targeting him, but why take that risk? So I just move there. 458s move in their assault position on the left-hand side, getting ready to, you know, kind of creep their way up there. We have plenty of time to assault, move, advance phase, assault, move, advance phase, assault, move, advance phase. That's 3 turns, and we're in DD2, DD7 by assault, move, advance phasing. And that gives us 1, 2, 3. That gives us a full turn after we get to DD7. So there's no real rush for these 458s to get up there initially, by my perspective, by my plan that I'm using. Again, the LMG hasn't fired from Kroger yet, so I'll just give him an advance phase. 458, same principle. He's not going to fire. Let's just surround him. That's all the further he can move. And now we move what he wants last. And he expects this shot coming across here. He actually states, okay, now you're going to move into Z1. And I don't go into Z1, and he's actually caught by surprise from that. I'm not sure why, but he's caught by surprise in the video. And so I moved to AA2. What value does AA2 give me versus, say, going across the road over here? I mean, you guys could have wanted to move from over here in the stone buildings too. I mean, I don't see a problem with that. That seems like a logical choice. I don't want to take this 2-2 even shot. I don't need to go there because these 5 squads are getting there without his help. What's the purpose of this location for the 9-2? Anything? He could shoot down here if necessary at long range. That's a 2, 4, 6, 8. That's an 8-1 shot. Not too bad, which threatens this unit. Whether I'm going to fire there, he doesn't know that, but I can threaten him. And using the LOS rules from Geometry of ASL, you could pop this guy here because that's a clear else. Where's that going to bisect, gentlemen? Where's that LOS from AA4 to X6 going to bisect? Okay, let me draw it.
It's gonna be
It's 4 hexes away. It's gonna bisect right halfway, right? So where's halfway?
going to be at the. Oh God, I hate
Okay, it's going to be at the
I hate geometry.
junction between Z5 and Y5. It's
Right
going to
there.
be that bordering hex. Yeah.
That's right there. Does he have a clear LOS from AA4 to that location right there? Does that hill
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that hill doesn't go out half at all. Now, if the hill was like down here at Y3, poking out, there'd be no way in hell he'd have the LOS. That's a clear LOS from AA4 to Y5 Z5. And that Z5 to X6 is completely clear. So that's the intent, is to put pressure on this one. And you'll see my error later. So that'll be a 12 plus 1 shot there. All game if he wants to throw units in there. But we'll see how I screw that up later. He defensive fires on my unit down there. Again, that's the 2+3 circus act down on the bottom. He does get a long range shot there. That's a good LOS there. That's a good eye to spot that. You know, the building's pretty close, right? That's a good LOS shot there. It's gonna be half. So that's a good shot. He happens to gank a 12 or gank 11 or 12 or something like that. Crappy roll. It's all good. Advanced fire ineffectually. And we'll just continue. One guy routes back. How can I route back without taking interdiction?
Outside normal range.
Outside normal range of the 248. If the 468 were here, I probably would have taken one interdiction shot. In that case, I most likely would have low crawled to preserve force. Because if I low crawl there, then it's based upon what your choice is. Usually, I mean, a 7's not too hard, so it's based upon your risk and where you are in the game right there. Could I have lost another half squad? You could argue that I could. Do I want to? Nah, not really. Not really. So I probably would have low crawled if the 468 was on the left-hand side. I have plenty of time to move my 8-0 up later. He'll have a self rally in my turn, which will be 7. But anyway, no interdiction is what we're looking at. I don't want to. And then my 7-0 Garen makes it to him. What's going to happen next round, gentlemen?
Your 628 is going to rally.
Yep.
And probably your 447 as well.
Yeah, what's a half squad? But yeah, the 7 morale unit will need an 8 to rally. The 628 needs an 8 to rally. So they both need the same thing. My opponent was confused why I didn't self-rally this guy, or he's trying to bait me to rally this guy. That's a simple, straight-up error. You don't want to. You're not going to roll a 4 where you have a 7 to roll. Even though I didn't make it, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Because I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squads that could pressure him. If I needed the 628 to pressure him, like desperately, versus a 248, then you might argue, hey, if he were assaulting me and I needed that guy up like right then, you could argue you could literally roll the dice on that and try to get him up. Low percentage shot, but in this case I didn't need it. The 248 would have actually served me better because I could just use him to bait shots, and the 248 can get right by him anyway. So anyway, those guys, and I knew that coming in. I don't need to waste the roll over here because I'm going to have a self rally here. I know that I'm going to have 8s in the Romanian player rally phase. I will need an 8 for my half squad, and in the Russian player turn, I'll need an 8 for a self rally in H3. So 8s are good to rally. Take them all day. That's why they pay these big boys to do what they do. They like to fight. 8 morale allows them to fight. So we advance everyone over here. What don't I do? What don't I do here?
There's no prep fire.
No, what don't I do as the Russian? This is advanced phase.
You don't CC.
I don't CC. I learned my lesson here, and I learned my lesson here. No need to CC. How many units is this unit going to break in the prep fire phase?
1.
Maximum 1. Is he going to get the shit fed to him in my defensive fire phase?
With many shovels.
With a lot. Yeah, we got 8. We got. Whoop. Oh, that's just screwed up. We got 16. We got another 8. We got another 12. We got 4 separate shots that's going to rip this guy a new one. Because they got nobody else to fire on. I mean, there are no other targets of opportunity. We're going to lose 1 unit maximum. So there's no need to go to close combat and feed him another unit. I think advanced fire. I advance this unit over here just to get him more centralized. And then we go to the Romanian rally phase. I do rally my 248 centralized. There's the circus at the bottom. He does roll his 3 to break my units. Oh, actually breaks the leader, pins the half squad. Now, if you see this sort of situation right here where this is pinned, right? Broken, this guy. If this guy's a pain in your ass, if you're firing him all the time because you think he's a threat, right? Where I think this 447 is more of a threat than this guy. Again, based on my self-analysis, where I think I've completely thrown away 1.5 squads down here, a medium and a leader, in my opinion. Just reflecting upon my gameplay, I think I've thrown those units away. If he continues to fire at this unit, which I've essentially thrown away, I would finish him off. I mean, he's got plenty of time to move. You know, I will finish him off. This 447 is not going to fire on any reaction move over here. If the 8-1 moves down after the prep fire, these units are pretty much gone, and you could jump that guy into close combat and kill him. You could DM him, and you could jump this guy into close combat and just, well, you could be in J9 and cause the 7-0 just to die. And then, you know, then you have an advantage because he's going to be half firepower. You know, do you want to take that shot, that risk? Nah, it's up to you. It's up to you. He's pinned. It's going to be 4-2. Do you want to take that? I could say, if you don't want to take that, don't take it. No, I have no problem with that. So, but if you do, you go high on the hog on him. But that's my opinion. We'll see how that changes later. It will change very fast. Prep fire, again, the circus on the bottom. He prep fires in the middle, breaks the big unit. Against target selection's good. Break the most powerful unit. And he kind of breaks up the fire group. So it does 2 things at once, right? Breaks a giant fire group, which I am not akin to taking, because I like to roll. I like to roll 12s and 11s when I make my 20 charts, so they essentially become 1 morale checks. I don't need to do that in this sort of situation, even though he's got a +3. I just need, you know, out of 4 shots, 1 of those is going to be pretty low. You know, 2 are going to be 7s, 1's going to be a 9, the other one's going to be a 5. He's going to be taking a 1 morale check, and most likely he's going to be pinned to broken. That's the thought on that. It's not a giant city fight. It's not in Stalingrad. You know, you don't have to worry too much about that. He starts moving this 468 up. Let's see, where else are we going to go? And I do blast them there with my 2nd shot. And then, obviously, once they break, they're just going to die for failure or out. So, again, surround him. Avoid the close combat. This is why you avoid the close combat. When you can get a number of shots on him, you don't need to throw one of your buddies in there. Because if I jump somebody in close combat, they'd be taking the shot at that time as well. Don't need to do that. We'd break 1 unit, and then we could just pile on with everyone else. So don't need to CC that, you know. Remember, close combat is not really your friend in starter kit. Those guys advance fire. Now these guys, he did spot this. They do DM him over here. Yeah, that's not too bad. I have no problem with that. Good shot on his part. DM the unit, keep the units down. So, not a problem with that. It's a good shot. Those units died. It's the rout phase. Again, circus on the bottom. What is this guy doing? What the hell is he doing? He's an I-1. He's DM. He's routing forward, gentlemen. Do you need to route back to this guy? Why did it go here versus here? Right? Because the leader's back here. That's 246. That's a legal route. Why did I go 246 up here?
Well, you certainly got a 9-2 up there as well, but you also could, in theory, you know, wait and just self-rally him next turn.
Right. Where's my 7-0 going to go in his turn? Where's this 7-0 moving to?
Oh, probably up there. Well, you can certainly 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. You can certainly get him to Z2.
Right, he can get to Z2. Yeah. Anybody else? Where would you move your 7-0 leader, George? Where are you moving your 7-0 leader right there? Where's this guy going next in the movement phase? How about over to H3? This guy just got DM'd. I don't want to route him back. Why don't I want to route him back? Where's he need to go? He needs to go up here.
Yeah, he needs to get to the other board.
So moving 3 movement factors back is almost another full movement phase. We don't want to do that. 7-0 is going to be preoccupied with this guy. If this guy moves here, we essentially have 1 roll before he needs to get up, because the 7-0 is moving and going over here. So if he fails that roll, now we have a broken unit in the back. If there's no roll up here, at least he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. Excuse me, 5 hexes ahead. 5 hexes in the front. Can the 9-2 come back here and rally him? Yeah, he's not going to. That's not his prime purpose. His prime purpose is to make sure that the Germans don't do anything fancy. Again, like Mark said, wait till the Russian player turn. DM will be gone. That's another 8, just like we had up on here. That's the same idea. He is going to rally. He's just going to have an 8, and he's just going to have to do it by himself. You know, all this self-rally does is eliminate our self-rally capabilities down here at H9. That's all it really does. If we have broken units, H9 is the absolute last person you want to rally, in my opinion, because you want the guys up top moving forward. You know, he hasn't fired on this guy since he broke. Does he need to? No, doesn't really need to. You know, I've got other important stuff to do. So route him forward, knowing that you're not going to rally him next rally phase, but you will rally him in your player turn with the self rally. Okay, it's thinking ahead, thinking more than 1 rally phase ahead. Because I know, because he DM'd him here. If he didn't DM him, this guy here, where's this guy going to route? He's probably going to route the same location. It's likely, but he could then route to Garen, because then if he rallies, Garen can move him 8 movement factors up. So still, he's moving backwards. Not a big fan of that. I'd still probably move him forward, or hell, to be honest with you, I probably should have routed him up over on the X2 side. To be honest with you, I actually lost 2 hexes right there. Right, because he was an I1. This guy was gone. Actually, I had to route first. No, it was his prep fire phase. He died. These guys were gone before he had to route. So yeah, he could have routed over here. That probably would have been a better route, to be honest, because he'd be closer. He'd be closer to the objectives. So slight error there, but the principle's the same. Route him forward. This is a free movement phase. Think of free movement phase with your routes, guys. Free movement phase.
For somebody relatively new to the game, that's going to be really counterintuitive, because you see that big collection of blue up north, and you're moving deliberately towards them. Now, I know a lot of these guys are not known enemy units, but it's just they're there. Maybe the unit on the board doesn't know it's there. It's just going to take some getting used to. I understand the concept you're saying. It's just kind of hard to wrap my head around it right now. I'll get there.
Right. I mean, yeah. Yes. Let's talk about that. Let's talk absolutely about that 100%. That makes an excellent point. Is this unit at risk? Moving here.
Right now, as we're speaking to each other, no.
In the German player turn, well, his turn. Actually, the Russian player turn is up and coming. So let's say the German player turn is up and coming. Is this unit at risk? And what type of risk is he at? Remember, my big stack's here, stack there. Can the Germans, can Koenig, with his stack right there, because it's only a stone building, can Koenig move down here to Y3 and pop him with a 6-up 1 shot to keep him DM and possibly even break him?
Well, not at the moment, not with the unit in AA3, at least guarding that hex. I mean, it would be...
what's that shot from AA3 to Y3?
+1 for... Well, I mean, again, is he going to be CX or not CX? I guess is the question, but it's going to at least be +1 minus 1, because it's non-assault movement, but you've got the hill advantage.
Right.
So you'd have, I don't know, what's there? Is it a 447 or
447?
No, I mean that's a 4. That'd be a 4 even. I'm not sure I would just waltz in.
I mean 4-up 1.
Well, yeah, depending on the CX, because we're flipping phases and flipping turns.
No, because if it's a Russian's player, if the German's player turn in this sort of situation, the CX would be there. So that's
right.
Because all the CX would be gone. But
Yeah.
again, that's another thing about timing is, am I moving him forward during my turn or his turn? Because if it's his turn, I can move this guy forward, and all my squads could then essentially get ahead of this broken unit. So make sure to give this guy defense. You know, let's say I moved him into X2, right? But if it's his turn next, he just moves guys next to me, blasts me for free, and then he moves back. You know, so whoever's player turn it is makes a big difference as well. You know, I do have a self rally attempt on this guy. That was going to be a 4. You know, this guy's a 4 here, and this guy's a 5. You know, I have choices to make. But again, it makes it, and that's what John was pointing out. It says he understands it, but he doesn't grasp sort of like the timing or the effectiveness of it. Because I know it's my turn, that unit is pretty much at 0 risk, because all these units down here on the bottom are going to be moving up into positions that will either cover these hill hexes or be pretty damn close, where these 468s are not going to move up. But if it was the 468s of the Germans' turn, they could easily move up, pop him, keep him DM, and then just advance back and still have, you know, adjacent shots if both of them just simply move up 1 hex. You know, does he want to do that? Probably not, but that option still exists.
Just in regard to Mark, I think it was Mark, your comment about how it's not counterintuitive, and because you're relatively new to the game, the more you know the routing rules and the conditions on where a unit can route, the less counterintuitive that will seem.
Right.
Particularly as Stu talks out about when you're doing it and when you're doing the forward routes in your opponent's to player turn, because you have the next player turn to safeguard them. So generally, the rule of thumb is you never leave your broken units out hanging, out to dry, as it were, when your opponent has the next move.
Right.
So it's definitely something you do in your opponent's move, because he can't do much about it.
Right. Yeah, very good point. It's the timing. Remember, who's now? Let's say the 9-2 wasn't up there, and these guys are back here. I could still make that forward move, but if it's his turn, he just comes up and I just die. I just get paid for it. At that point, you keep him in the back because of the risk. Whereas this is very minimal risk, because of that fact. And we'll see. Matter of fact, we'll kind of go into there in the point of routing as well. Remember, and we cover this. I think it was Bob. Bob's not here, or Robert. Robert pointed out something in the game. This is something I'm going to get to. Let me forward this. So, very very important to if you can, like I say, just because you know the trick of routing forward doesn't mean you do it all the time. Just because you can low crawl doesn't mean you just simply default to low crawl. There needs to be a purpose in you doing all that, because like, let's say I'm an I1, right? Because I can continue routing through appropriate cover, do I need to do that all the time? Especially if there's not a leader there. If there's no leader there, you'll see a lot of units from I1, oh, we're just going to go 2, 4, 6 because we can. Well, always route with a purpose. Route like you're moving, right? Route like that guy's good order, and route to a position where it will benefit you. You know, you just need to route to a position where it will benefit you. If you route the whole way back, and we covered this in our game, John, where you had your front Americans, if they broke, move your leader up closer to them so they route back 1 hex, and if they pressure you, you get another hex and then another hex. Whereas if they route the whole way back, all he has to do is move once, and then he essentially does the coup de grace in all 1 turn. You don't always want to route your maximum. Route like you're moving with a purpose. Just because they're broken doesn't mean they're worthless, especially in SK. They still have extreme value. Again, the value I used is to move him forward. Once you start doing this, you'll see, oh, instead of just having 3 squads here, by the time the Russian player turn comes along, like later on, he's going to be ready to go. right? Is he
Yeah.
going to self-rally? Probably not. Probably not. You know, I might want to self-rally this guy just because he's further back. And I could always get, you know, I've got 3 leaders within proximity of this guy. They can get there. But if you routed him back here and he delayed a couple turns and then he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's right there in one movement phase anyway. Whereas self-rally, now he's in a position of threatening stuff. So take a look at that. Take a look at your routes, and this is what I want you guys to bring to the table. Bring your logs. We could just go over just your routing. I think all SK players, of any player of any skill level, if you just analyze your routing in a game, nothing else, throw everything out the door, every single unit that's broken, just look at the routing and where you're routing him and why you're routing him there. Sometimes, it's the only spot he can go. Yeah, it's no brainer. But let's say you're given two locations to go to, right? Like in my other routing video, I had 1 location to go to, but I had 2 routes to take him, and we discussed at length, ad nauseum, you know, the different routes and what it gives you. You know, that's not, you know, run of the mill. That's not out of the cookie cutter. The rule book doesn't say anything about that. It simply says you have to go here, and you don't have to take the shortest route. So what the hell does that mean? I'm just gonna route there anyway. Boom, boom, boom. Everyone just routes there anyway. And we'll see a route. We'll see a route later. So anyway, we're gonna touch on the routing again. Routing is like routing will win you games. Routing properly or routing effectively can win you games. Obviously, don't break. That helps too. But you know how that happens. but so he's taking shots, and guess what? Oh yeah. Here you go. Here you go, gentlemen. He DMs this unit. Okay, he DMs that unit.
And so now he can move.
Now he could route. Where's he routing?
Towards the leader.
Towards the leader. And guess what? There's a lot of things that happen in here in this situation. When you remember, the route phase is a separate phase. You need to look at the route phase as a separate phase, as a movement phase. Later on, my 7-0 gets popped. So this is the same distance to that unit. Let's verify. That's 10. That's 10. Obviously, these guys, the positions in the back here, F4 and H5, are further away. Your typical player will just route him away from the enemy. Away from the enemy. Can I ignore F2 as a routing destination? Sure, because it's not getting further away from that unit over there. I can ignore that. I can ignore that and go route, if like in case something else wasn't available. I can ignore that and go my willy-nilly way, you know. And but he breaks him. I can route here. Guess what? If this 468 were right there, could he route to that location?
He could not, because it would be a known enemy unit at that time.
Correct. What did he do here?
He basically broke line of sight to that location where the leader was.
Right. What did we call that when he moves up here out of LOS?
Skulking.
Skulking. Was this necessary? What threat was that guy under?
458's coming down.
These guys right here?
Yep. Well, and also the mega stack. Your gorilla there at the corner of the hill.
Okay.
At
Yeah,
AA4.
At least
Yeah,
a plus,
AA4.
+4/+2, yeah.
Yeah, it's there's a shot here. There's a shot here. But that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 12. That's a 12 up 3. He needs to roll 6 for a normal morale check. Is this guy gonna pass a normal morale check? Is this guy gonna pass a 1 morale check most of the time?
Yes.
Right? So if he rolls 12 up 3, if he rolls a 4, if I roll a 4 on my attack, which is a damn good roll, I'm getting a 1 morale check on my 468 during my turn. Do I give a shit if I pin in that location?
No.
Nope. Doesn't have no effect on the game. No effect. The 4's a miss for all intents and purposes when I roll my 7. When I roll a 4, I need to roll a 7 to pin. No effect on the game. Because that's where he's going to skulk back. That's where he's going to advance back anyway. But in terms of this down here, You know, not that I'm saying that, you know, this is definitely looking forward. Firing here will DM that unit so he can't self-rally. That's a general move. But recognizing that I could route here because this LOS doesn't exist, you know, is what you need to look at. Remember, he was there before, and you say, oh my goodness, I can't route forward. Well, when the route phase comes, per unit, reevaluate the situation, because it could have changed. And it did change by one simple move. If that unit were there, I could route here, and then, oh shit, I see this guy. Now I've got to route somewhere else. And so that would screw this guy up big time. But since he's not there, I can move right across the street, knowing that this guy's gone. Okay? So take each route phase. Take the route phase completely different. It's not, you know, oh, he did this earlier in the game. Because remember, he's moving. His movements can cause units not to be, you know, exposed to danger, or it could give you good route paths to take. So just keep that in mind, gentlemen. This is very subtle. This is very subtle. But again, select this unit to route, ignore all of the broken units. Like if you're thinking about where this guy's going to route, ignore those until you get to them. Well, don't ignore them completely, because sometimes you might be able to synergistically route to the same location and do that. But they're pretty much far apart. Take each route as it is. Analyze each route. Sorry, I beat the living shit out of that horse.
No, it's words we need to hear. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at the other stuff I've got laid out on my gaming table, and I literally had the Richardson tutorial on explanation of the route phase opened up in my little book here. I was getting ready to start reading that tomorrow after I got done, you know, with geometry of ASL.
Sure.
So it's just all part of the process. Right. And again, some of the finer points of the game that if I'm ever going to progress out of the SK realm, I've got to have that down cold before I open myself up to be permanent cannon fodder.
Right. Now, just kind of reflect on the route phase and the movement phase. Which do you think? I mean, they both have impacts on the game, but a lot of people dismiss the route phase as my broken units are broken; they can't do shit. It's just sort of like an intermediate phase, sort of like a rally phase, sort of like an advanced phase. They move one hex, you know, yeah, boom, close combat, nothing happens, you know, this, that. No, the movement phase is where you get into position offensively. The route phase is where you are prepping those units, getting those units so they can be used offensively in the future turns. Again, doesn't happen all the time, which makes the route phase more important because you have to really analyze where you can move to, right? And to give yourself a great advantage. If I, you know, the 447 here, right? Where is he going to move to in the movement phase? That's probably going to move forward, right? I mean, that's pretty simple. Right? That's pretty simple. Yeah. I think we could agree on that. These bozos down here, they're all going to kind of meander over this direction. How I get there, I'll decide upon that in the movement phase, or I might have a plan, that sort of thing. So they're on their way over there. Broken unit right here, he could do a lot based on where the bad guys are. Like if I had a broken unit in J1, you know, can he see him? You know, can I route that direction? Can I route over here? Do I have to route back? Can I route forward? Can I just keep him there? Is keeping him there serve a purpose? Do I low crawl him one hex? You know, actually moving a route guy that when you are given options on where you can go is a far more involved concept, involved thought process than just moving a guy forward. You know, obviously you want to move a guy forward, you know, avoid shots, take cover. That's pretty standard, you know, so expand upon, could just consider the route phase, the movement phase with more purpose, because you need that guy up more as soon as possible. And then we'll go.
More purpose, but more constraints.
Right, more purpose, exactly, which makes it harder, right?
Harder because the rules are constraining you.
Right.
You know,
right.
Because you have to try to get to cover under most circumstances or whatever. So yeah.
perfect board in this particular instance. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect point. Is movement? I can move anywhere. It doesn't matter whether I take -4 shots, -5 shots. It doesn't matter. I can move anywhere. But routing, you can't. So, so
knowing what you can do in that phase and figuring out what you can do in that phase is certainly gives you an advantage over your opponent, who may just be literally thinking of it as a bookkeeping phase.
Exactly. And you do not want to think of routing as a bookkeeping phase at all. And you'll see that as your games progress. He's moving Kroger over there. His guys skulk back. Take a look at the guy over in U3. He's taking position up front. Don't have a problem with that. In my opinion, if he's going to move one guy up, he needs to move both guys up. But that's his game plan, not my game plan. To support the unit in U3. That's all. I rally Bogrov. I rally the other unit. I'm just going to burn through this one here. I prep fire unit. I break him. Again, here's my shot here. I catch him by surprise. He didn't think I had the LOS. I actually break that unit, which was really cool. Unfortunately, he's got a leader back here, so it does do a heck of a lot. He's firing my units as I move across. He does get a shot here. Gets a good shot. Rolls a 4. Unit breaks. Do I like that? Hell no. It's my 8 morale unit. Don't really like that at all. But I move everyone else to counter. You see how this move over here? This 4-4-7. Say, okay, I'm down 1 unit. I'm making it up with this guy over here. Is he a 4-5-8? Nope, but he's a body. This guy is not going to move up on the hill for obvious reasons. He's got 6 -3, 8. He's not moving up there. I just took my pot shot here, punch him in the face, saying, hey, I'm here to play. Come out and play, bring him the ball, or I'm going to come into your house and take it. And so here's where I get popped here. Unfortunately, my 7-0 breaks. That's the 2-2 shot, right? That's a good shot on his part. So my guys say, see you later, leader. We don't need you anymore. Thanks for rallying us. And we just continue to move. I think I CX'd them anyway. And because you can't late CX. And so they kind of get to their position where they wanted to go. Maybe 1 hex short, don't know. But the leader is just going to route. Again, don't really care about the bottom too much. Here's where he pops this guy here. It's a K result. The bottom's kind of inconsequential. Again, let's go to routing, gentlemen. He was in G3. Where's the nearest cover? I mean, I don't want to back him up because I might screw it up. Please. So, actually, he was here. I'm just going to break this unit. He was in G3. Where can he route to? Legally.
F2.
Where's the closest
F2.
cover?
F2.
F2? How about G2? Do you guys agree that these are the closest cover? Just closest cover. We're just going closest cover.
Yeah, maybe the closest cover, but by doing so, isn't he getting closer to the 468 that he can see right now?
Correct. So these are ignorable. You can't go there. Those are illegal hexes. Not ignorable, illegal.
They're illegal, right.
Can't go here. So what about F4, H3?
H3 would cost 4.
Okay. What about F4?
5. So that leaves I3 as being the closest cover at 3 hexes, 3 MF.
How much MF is F4?
F4 should be 5.
How about a G4 route?
Well, 2, 4, yeah.
Right,
okay,
right. So that's 4. That's 4. That would be the closest route. But I3 is 3 hexes. There's 3 movement factors away. Does everyone see that? This is important. This comes up in the very next turn, or this comes up the next turn. I3 is the closest cover, legal closest cover in MF. Does anyone not see that? It's important to tell me if you don't see that so we can make sure that's clean and clarified, because I see this all the time. All the time. H3 is not your destination hex. H3 and F4 are equivalent. Do we see that? Yes, we see that.
Yes. Yep.
I3, although it's 2 hexes away, it's irrelevant. It's 3 movement factors away. Okay? 3 movement factors away. How do we get there? Can we go to... what route can we take there? George? What route can we take to I3? Nothing? Tony?
Well, I've actually got several, at least in theory.
Yeah, Tony. Well, Tony, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what routes can we take to I3?
Yeah, I think Mark's right. I mean, you got several. You go through H3, you go through H2.
Okay.
Go H2. I don't have to look at line of sight. I think you probably go H2, I2. You know, you wrap around that way if you wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, you got a number. You got a number of. Let's see. You can't go back to J4, H4. You can't make it that way.
No, not at all. Even though H3 is not our destination because it's not the closest cover, we could route through H3 getting to I3 because that's 4, 6, right? We don't have to take the shortest route. Although we can't stop in H3 because that's not where we need to go. That's not the closest cover. We can route through there. Is that strange and confusing as hell? Yeah. It sounds kind of odd. I can't go here, but I could route through there? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it does when you know the rule that you don't have to take the shortest route. The shortest route is H2, I3. But you may take H3, I3. Because someone may be able to over here, there might be an enemy unit here, or like over here, interdicting your ass. Well, let's say put them up higher, further or something, you know. There might be someone being able to interdict you at H2, therefore the H3 path might there. And you could theoretically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could theoretically do that. That's a legal route. You know, as long as other conditions, all the routing conditions are met, not getting closer to enemy unit, so on and so forth. For whatever reason, that would still be a legal route. Okay? But know that that's what we're looking at. Can I continue routing from there once I reach that destination?
But you can continue to route to I4 if you wanted to.
Okay. As long as what?
Again, as long as you're not moving closer to any known enemy unit.
Right. Because they come around the corner, these guys might come into the equation of routing. Right? Before you route, that's what you're looking at. Let's say I want to get to I4. You know, I'm going to have to go this way to get there. You know, and that's another reason why maybe you do want to, right? There'll be situations, instead of going straight to it, you might want to go 1, 2, 3, and then let's say 4, and let's say they're an enemy unit right here. Let's say for whatever reason you want to do that. And now, well, you still have to try and go there, but there might be reasons where if that unit were an LOS, actually this unit's an LOS right there, I believe. Right?
Can you put the unit back in G3?
G3.
Yeah. So see how you could move through H2, and we also talked about how you could move through H3.
Right.
Route 2. As soon as you move to H3, now see the 8-1.
Right. See that?
You cannot move to I3.
Right.
But now you can get to I4.
Exactly. You see it, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Huge difference. Knowing this, remember, taking each individual one, you can either, if your objective is to get to I3, simply stay out of his LOS. If you say, hey, I'm going to be tricky, and I'm going to H3 on the way, because you don't have to take the shortest route in MF. 4, now I get to see this bozo, and this bozo, and I can't go to I3, because guess what? H3 is 10, I3 is 9, can't go there, and now he gets to go to I4. Or
if you have a leader, for example, in what is it? We're the 458er,
yeah.
so who can't advance to I3, but he can advance
to
I4.
So you always want to trick that, right? Same sort of that, and as well. Let's say you want to route him around the corner. Guess what? J2, that's 3 movement factors right here, right? J2 now comes into range of I7. You see that? J2 now is LOS to I7, range of 5. But guess what? I3 is a range of 4. Same principle. Can we route to I3 then? No. We can't go to I3 because now it's getting closer to this unit. Where can we route? J1 or K2.
Actually,
you
the
get across the
468 can see you in U3 there, I think. I don't think you can.
What's that?
The
Oh, yeah, the
468.
468,
U2
yeah,
would
yeah.
block you. Yeah.
In that case, we have to route there. Yeah, we have to route over here, possibly route over there. The 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hell, he could actually go here. Now, is this an issue? It could be. You're kind of getting out of position. But if he self rallies later on, then we got a position over here. The guy could take objectives later. If you've got this sort of thing covered and there's no threat here. Essentially, you move from G3 to L3 in his movement phase because it. I think it's his turn. It might be my turn. No, it's my turn. So it's his turn later. Is this a risk? Yeah, it's a potential risk. Because this unit may say, okay, now he's going to be claiming buildings. Now I need to make my move. And I need to move guys up on that location over here. This is more of a risk than the 628. But again, game decision. If you want, that forces his move. Maybe you want him to try and do something around about that. But that's a good pickup. Good pickup right there. Tony spotted that one as well. We have we have 3 LOSs, 4 LOSs, gentlemen. We have the LOS from the 468 from G3, which makes us go to the right. If we go up to H3, we have Koenig up top and his other buddies on the hill, which forces us to go away from I3, so to I4. If we go around the bend, we see this unit here, which we can't go to K2, and we can't go back over here. So now that restricts our route paths immensely. We could go, at that point, you're stuck in J2, you still have to try to route 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You could probably, you can't go back to H1 because you just left the LOS of this unit. You essentially have to continue routing to this destination over here. J2 really restricts your routes at that point. Yep. Really restrict, and you can kind of get caught on that. Although he's not in open ground to either one of those guys, you still can't get closer to him. So very interesting. One little stinking route has, depending on where you go, has essentially 2 to 3 different results. It's not just, oh, I'm moving into IH3 or I2, I3 and be done with it. If I needed a guy over there, you do the funky move. You do the round the bend move to move over to L3. Right? So again, much more difficult than moving. Obviously, if you can move, you simply just, okay, I'm just going to move that way. Right? But in this case, you have to pattern your movement to trigger the rules of routing to work in your favor. Is that easy? No, but once you start playing with it, it will click and say, yeah, baby, I'm all over this. When my units break, I won't bitch anymore. I get a free movement phase. Right? That's what you need to think about, especially if they're in safe situations. Don't care about them breaking. Remember, John, your guy broke right in the middle of that road, right? He took a CR, broke in the middle of the road, but guess what? Where he got to? He got to his destination anyway when he routed. He got to where he wanted when he routed in our coverage of John's game. Still got there. He took a shot, took a hell of a shot, but he still got there. All right, let me continue this massacre going on. I advance in the 468 over here. I control that building, don't really care. That's a free building. He skulks down here. Or just moves. I think he just moves. He just DMs him again from the prep fire on this unit over here. Again, it's the circus down there. Nothing's really getting done. 4+3 shots, 2+3 shots aren't going to be doing anything. You just have to pray for snake eyes. Cutting moves to the back to rally that unit, I presuppose. He moves a stronger force over here. And then he moves back to his destination. He's trying to rally here. Was it 100% necessary for Koenig to go back there and help this unit rally? What do you think? What do you guys think about the leader switch? This is important. What do you think about the leader switch in here? I've got a force coming over the right-hand side, considerable force coming on the right-hand side. He has one unit back here that he'll be able to rally in my turn with no DM. And he moved Kroger to up front and Koenig in the back. What do you think? How do you evaluate that move, guys? Would you do that, and why? Does he have a better chance of rallying with the -1 leader? The obvious answer is yes, he has a better chance. What does he need to rally with that 8 -1 leader?
Needs a 10.
Needs a 10, right? 10. Do you think a 9's pretty easy to roll? 9's pretty easy to roll. Because the Kroger's there, he'd be rolling a 9. But Koenig, I think, is better served up front to stop this onslaught that's coming. You're looking at +2 buildings that I'm in. I'm going to be entering cover here real quick. Unless his entire purpose is never to be up there anyway. You know what I'm saying? If his purpose is never to actually defend that area, that's fine. Just move him back, and you're back to where you were going to be anyhow. But in terms of if I'm willing to punch the Russians in the face, a 6 -1 in V3 is pretty damn sweet. Or 6 -2 for that matter. You know, if I move a unit here, now he's in LOS, -1 non-assault movement, -1 leader, 6 -2, pretty good shot. That way this unit could fire 8 +1 or 8 +2 adjacent. That's a pretty sweet shot. Just saying. But if his plan was to retreat the entire way, I don't have a problem with that. Don't have a problem with that. But now he's just weakened himself on this side. Essentially now I can just charge these guys almost willy-nilly. You know, because remember, the -1 is just another chart switch. You know, if it's a 6 even, it's the same thing as being an 8 even. You know, he switches the chart over. With, of course, slight variation because of the -1. So, and then the rally phase is here. We're going to end this particular evaluation here, and we'll go over another rally later. Okay, actually, I'm going to point out right now, because we've been really hammering the route. I do break this unit in next turn, in U4. I didn't want to break him in U3. Why did I not want to break this 468 in U4 in U3? Let me clone a guy. Actually, I could move him because we're at the end of the... Why do I not want to break this again? This is what you need to think about. Why don't I want to break that unit? Do I want to kill him? Yeah, I want to kill him. Am I going to kill him with his firepower? Not at all. Not at all. Why don't I want to break the 468 when he's right here? What's going to happen in his route phase? Where's he going to route?
Route U4.
U4? And then what? Where else could he route?
Well, you can continue routing to U5, yeah.
Right. So he gets up in a stone building. And what happens when I move up? Right? Because I'm going to move up. Let's say he moves up here. Let's say this guy goes up here. We do 1-0. And then I fire on him again to DM him. Where's he going to go? Sorry, let me break him. And Kroger's here as well. And I DM him again. He doesn't rally him. And I DM him. Where's he going to go?
Not going to W6.
Nah, he's not going here. No.
I'm going to go back to V6.
Go to V6.
V6, yeah. Where don't I want that unit to be?
Oh,
You want to back in that other building.
I do not want this guy, yeah. I don't want him back here any day of the week. Just because this unit I broke. Did that really do anything? Nah, not really. I didn't take advantage of it. You know, he's got 2 468s guarding that approach. I'm not going to run my 9-2 down here like a Moog. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Even if I move here, I'll get 1, 2, 3 shots. I'm going to get shot to hell when he goes down there. He's never going to make that. Right? So breaking him just told him that, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. You can't be smart and silly up here. I'm popping this guy. Kind of freeze these guys up a little bit. Just a little bit. He does have a 468. But this tells him that, you know, these guys are a little bit more free. Doesn't really have to worry about too much of a flank. But if I break him here and he routes up in this building, for all intents and purposes, he's back here in 2 turns. For all intents and purposes. And Kroger's with him too. Kroger gets a free move. And then this guy could do his little skulk bullshit and then move back there. Do I want that? I don't want that at all. So what do? I think I forego a shot on him. Right? I think. We'll see the next clip. But I'm going to tell you now, because this is what we're doing, because we're covering around him. I don't want to break him in this location. I want to break him here. What the hell is the difference, Stu? What the hell is the difference breaking him in either location? Anybody? What's the difference in breaking him here and here? And I thought of this before because Robert pulled it up in the replay while we were live, and it clicked on me. So yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I just forgot about it. When this unit breaks in the next turn, which is exactly what happened, where did he go? Where's he routing?
Oh, all right. I see your point. You can't get to U5. You got to go to S4.
That's right.
Yep.
Can't route up here. And that's exactly what my opponent did. He routed him right there. Well, it's not closest in hexes. Now, it's closest. It's still closest in MF. When he broke here, closest NMF was right here, and he could continue. So now he's up here. When I break him here, he cannot go to U5. Where does he go instead? He takes well, I think he took interdiction, or maybe no, maybe this guy was still CX, don't really care. He now has to go to S4. How does that change the situation? What did I just do? For all intents and purposes, what did I just do when I broke that unit?
You've now isolated him completely. He's not going to be in the game much anymore.
KIA. That's a KIA.
Yep.
That's a KIA, which blocks a hex from me moving in there. Killed in action. Is he still on the board? Yeah. Do I care? No. Could he self-rally? Yeah, it's possible. He's roll 4. It's pretty low. I'll take that shot. But is he going to be DM'd for the rest of the game? You damn well better believe he is, because I'm not going to let that sucker get up over here and take another shot at my flank. I'm going to keep him DM for the rest of the game. And he's only going to be able to rally him every other rally phase. How many other rally phases does he have? He's got 1, 2. He has 2 chances to roll a 4. The first chance is the most important one, because that gets in the game earlier. The second chance, by that time, I better get my ass in position, and the game's going to be won by then, where I can just ignore him. You know? But not breaking him here means he's here versus there and rallied, because I can't shoot at that position. Simply because I didn't choose to break him there. Don't fire on him, move up, let him skulk back, all that bullshit like that. Now his ass is grass. Now he's in trouble. He moved too far up. He should have just stayed right there. He actually said that he wanted to move back here in CX, but he didn't want to take the CX. What did that cost him? It cost him a unit. He just killed himself when I broke him. Did I have a chance of not breaking him? Yeah, he's an 8 morale unit. He's pretty badass. He had a good chance of not breaking, but, you know, it's a dice game. We play the game, we roll dice, and shit happens. And now he couldn't go up there. And that's exactly what he did. He instantly moved him in the route phase right there, which everyone knows you can't do that. And then we caught it. Oh, yeah, you got to move that S4. All right. 1 hex away, 2 hexes away. Does that matter? No. A resounding no. Does not matter. Does not matter the distance in hexes. Only the distance in movement factors. So, big important thing. Cost him a unit. Now, instead of 5 squads defending, I have just destroyed 20% of his force where he needs the most. And then he took out another 15 to 20% by putting guys over here. So, next turn. It's going to be interesting. We see other things changing. Not much changes here, but we'll see something interesting come over here. What time is it right now? 7. Actually, let me cover that right now. Let me cover that point right now. Nothing else in the game changes. Nothing changes down here. I'm going to cover the one thing that only makes a difference over here. I just position over here for the next session. So what I'm going to do is just show you one thing over here. Okay, gentlemen? If you're up for that.
Sure.
15 minutes. I don't want the session to go over 2 hours. It's 7:15 right now, or 7:12 right now. Let me see. Is this the full log? This might be the full log. Okay. Okay. I'm moving here, 458, right? CXing him. EE5. Is he going to take a shot at me in EE5, knowing his tendencies?
No.
Nope. He's not going to take a 6 even. That might be a good shot. 6 even. Actually, 6+1. Not a bad shot. Because he's going to get a follow-up shot if I continue moving. Leaves a residual there, which he knows this unit and possibly this unit are going to be moving into. Doesn't take the shot. Does he take this shot? Nope.
He should.
Actually, he does. And he happens to cower. But that's a 2, that's a 4. Even shot there. Take the shot, cowers. I got a task check. Now he's screwed. Now he can't fire again. No problem. Cowering happens. I simply run around the corner. Right there. This unit does the same thing. Because guess what? Cowers doesn't leave any residual there. And the 248 has no LOS to that location. 248's not going to shoot in the building by himself. And this unit can't subsequent for his fire. Right? Because he's finaled. The 248's value is just depleted. And he can't see DD5. So both my 458s, the big boys with the 8 morale, right? They do what they need to do. They're assault troops. Get up there, bust some ass. They're both CX. Do I care about that? Nope. I'm in position. Now I have an advantage. Now, since both these guys got up here, I could redistribute this guy over here, knowing that I have a decent strength over here, and he's going to be in a world of hurt. Is that a dominating position? No. No. Do I have a slightly upper hand? You could argue that it's probably even. I would say I have a slightly less chance, 45, 55, maybe, simply because he owns the building. But at that point, I'm making my position over here. I need a leader in this vicinity, because now I'm going to start breaking. When these guys move up, they're going to start breaking. Is Elkin going to rally him? Hell no. His job is not to rally these units. His job is to bust guys in the face. Could he sit around and rally units? Yeah. Do you really want him doing that? Depends if you're desperate, I think. Or if he's got nothing else to do that turn. But you want to make sure you don't move this guy out of position. And I kind of do that, to be honest with you. So Camkin runs over there, CXing, busts his butt. These guys move in position. And what do I do? And what do I do right here? Let's see. Again, nothing. The bottom doesn't matter. To be honest, the bottom didn't matter from the turn 2 on, to be honest with you. This is what we're looking at right here. Tell me what happens. Again, don't overuse the technique. What happens right here? What happens right there?
You control the building.
I control the building for free. He just gave up one of the victory locations by simply moving out. How does that change the situation at the top here?
Now he's got to get you out.
Now he's got to get me out with a lesser force. I thought that I had a 45-55 against him being CX at that position, right? So I thought I still had a slight disadvantage because he has the advantage of being already in the damn building. I have to break him or nothing happens. What don't I want to do?
You do not want to CC this guy.
No, especially with him CX. But this will be off when I move. Could he have stayed there and jumped into CC with me? Yeah, we'll go over that in just a second. But he moves out. I immediately take control of the building. I actually wanted to put that son of a bitch on there as soon as he did, but I didn't want him to take back his move. Because you say, oh, I don't want to do that. I didn't want to get in that sort of situation. I just wanted to have him move a couple of units, say, oh, well, it's too late now, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, now, why skulk out? Does he avoid a shot? Yes. What type of shot are we looking at here?
Would it be 16 plus 4?
16 plus 4. What type of risk is that with an 8 morale unit? If I roll a 7.
Roll 7, that's an 11. That's a pin pass check.
If I roll 6 is a normal morale check. 5 or a 4. A 5 or a 4 is a 1 morale check. Is he going to pass a 1 morale check?
About 58, 59% of the time. Yeah.
And he's going to be pinned. Does this unit give a shit if he's pinned in his turn?
Not in his turn.
Not his turn? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is his turn, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Not the Russian's turn, yeah. If he pins him, it's nothing. So I need to roll less than a 4 to really actually have a good chance of breaking this unit, to be honest with you. Can he break, by rolling dice and rolling less? But you just take the rule 7. Rule 7 says he's pinned. with an excellent roll by the Russians on a 16 chart. Remember, +4, big difference. 16 +3, slightly better. In my opinion, fire there. Fire there. Nut up. Fire there. What happens if I fire there and one of these units break? That's an 8 +3. Is that a great chart? No, but guess what? 5 is a morale check. 5 is a normal morale check. If one of those guys pins, what happens? Then you jump his ass in close combat. Then you might want to jump his ass in close combat, because now you got a pin, a CX, which is a good chance to ambushing, and you've got the -1, -2 maybe, if you got him. Do you want to do that? Difference. But let's say one of these guys breaks. What's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do?
He's going to reoccupy the building.
The 248. Where are you going to move your 248, John? We broke one of these guys here.
I'm going to move him into EE7.
Where's a better spot? What does this give you? Not much. Not much, right? It does give you something. It doesn't give you much, though. What else could you do with him? Risk versus reward. Remember, one of these guys is broken. Is he going to rally? Is this unit going to rally? What does he have to do before he even tries to rally? What's he have to do?
He's got to get into cover terrain.
He's got to route.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's this guy going to do?
Okay, he needs to go to EE8 then, and keep him out of the woods.
Nope. He can't go to the woods. That's illegal. Where's he going to go? He has to go back here. 2, 3.
Hang on. Are we talking about the German unit or the Russian unit?
The Russian unit. In this is a German player turn. The Russian unit must route in the route phase. It is still the movement phase. What are you doing with your 248? Almost 100% of the time. Almost 100% of the time, what are you going to do with your 248? Remember, he's still CX'd. You're going to deny this SOB, and you're going to eliminate him. This unit, you're going to do 2 things with this move. At least 2. God damn it. 2 things with this move. You're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe even 6 here. But I would probably go 6 there. Stay at range. Right? He has to route. Is the 458 going to fire at the 248? I might have to.
Yeah, you have to.
I might have to. Actually, this guy's going to be CX'd. I could still possibly route this direction, but...
Risk management.
Yeah.
The best risk management move for the 248 is to put him in FF9.
Well, where's your FF9?
FF9 is over in the corner.
Over here?
There. He can't be fired by the 458 that's not broken. I'm almost certain there's no line of sight.
Right, no line of sight.
But he's still interdicts, so I prevents.
Oh, right. Right, because if I move him back here, I can still route this way. I can still go 1. I'd have to low crawl. Actually, he'd be CX. If I move there, he'd be CX, and I could just route willy-nilly. Once I reach here, I can go down this way. So yeah, this will give me interdiction possibilities by not CXing. This will force the Russian unit this way. Do I want to really force the Russian unit that way? Probably not, because more than likely he's going to get to Elkin, and he's going to rally him in a second. But what it does, if you don't move out of here, if you don't do that, look, it takes one of those units away. Now the Germans have an advantage over here. Am I going to take the building at that point, even if we move it up here? Probably not. Probably not. Now I have to. Now it's going to be 8 + 3 next round. It's not much. It's going to be tough. This turns into this bullshit down here, which is pray for a low roll. Low roll will win the day, which is what happened down here. He rolled like 3 or 4 3s and 2s down there at the bottom to break up this bullshit down here. Do I care? Nah. I got my buildings anyway, and I'm going to keep them. There's nothing the Romanians can do to take these back. Nothing. If he takes 1, I move to the next one. Doesn't really matter.
Just in regards to CX and close combat, CX is actually a triple penalty.
Yeah.
Because not only do you get the CX penalty for ambush, but your attack, you get in the actual attack, you're at a -1. Your opponent gets a -1, and you get a +1. So that's 3 penalties.
Right.
So
Right.
CX really nasty.
Yeah. And if you ambush him, right? If you ambush, like you said, you -1 ambush, -1 like Pete pulls out the CX +1 -1, and guess what? When that 458, if that 458 gets ambushed, and what do I roll? I always roll my 5.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my 5.
Yay!
Yeah. I roll my 5. He's going to get ambushed, and now I'm +2 on the ambush on my close combat roll, which, for all intents and purposes, lowers your charts by 2. So now I'm essentially a 1-4 against this guy, and he has a good chance of at least casually reducing that unit. And then the 248 can reoccupy the building, and then in case they lose, then it's still even. He's never going to lose that building at that point. So taking this shot again, the over skulking cost him that building. Now all I have to do is sit on my ass. What are you going to do? I've got 16 firepower at anybody I want to shoot at. What are you going to do now? You just flip that plate over, all your food's on the floor, and now your dog's got to eat it. You know.
He just gets the initiative.
The dog's happy.
Yeah, the dog's damn happy, and the Russian's the player that you just fed. So, so giving up this is huge, because what does that mean when this is given up? Because I had to fight. In my mind, I've got 2 more turns to take this building. That was going to be kind of iffy. When he gives it to me, guess what? Now it changes the entire game plan of what I can do over here. It went from how am I going to get both of these buildings to I only need one of these guys. How am I going to get one building? One building. So this over skulk caused a complete shift of power on the right hand side. 100%. So that was the most important thing. Nothing else happens in the other turn. What we'll do is we'll end up, I'll set it up for the move. Nothing really happens in the game except for the move. And then what we're going to do is we're going to finish out the game based on our hopefully best choice. The game actually hasn't been finished out, so we're going to finish it out thinking about, okay, what about moving first? What about attacking? You know, that's what's going to come up. That's what's gone through my mind when I was looking at the situation. Do I want to shoot first? Do I want to move? And what are the risks involved? That's what we're going to cover next time. So again, skulking is an option that is given to your units. Yes, 100% of the time. Does it protect your units? Yes, it protects them most of the time, as long as you can't counter the skulk, right? But if overused or used in the wrong situation at the wrong time, as this case points out, you just got fucked.
He just actually changed the balance of the scenario from a 40% Soviet probability to a 60%.
Yeah, he flipped it. He essentially threw away his balance right there.
It's a 20% swing.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, minimum. Now I only have to have one of these guys. Because again, this one's free. X1's the free one. You know, there wasn't a unit within 55 hexes of this thing, you know. But again, and again, think of it this way: if that's what his strategy was, why even have these units here in the first place if he's going to give the building? Put these sons of bitches over here.
Just on that, just on skulking in general, because ASL and SK are very much games of maneuver. Skulking was a tactic originally invented when prep fire was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it got a bit of notoriety because of that, particularly in ASL. Well, long before SK was even a thought. In Beyond Valor and the original Yanks.
Right.
Skulking was a very solid defensive tactic.
And the reason why that is because a lot of the scenarios were longer. And so you could prep fire. You had the ability to be able to prep fire 2 or 3 turns. Now when there's 7 turns, 6.5 turns, prep fire is a tactic that is movement has now surpassed prep fire in what you want to do.
You prep, you lose. That's the best way I can think of it these days in the current ASL meta.
In a general sense, yeah. In a general sense, yeah. If you prep, you're probably
going to lose.
Yeah.
As the attacker. If you prep as the attacker, you're probably going to run out of time. ASL SK is all about maneuver, and has been for quite a while.
And look where my units are here. Have these guys prep fired any turn? Any turn. None of these guys have prep fired the entire game. None of these guys. This guy prep fired once, broke a unit, didn't really do anything. Nah, not really. It told him that there's an LOS there. That's what it, pretty much I kind of showed my hand. Maybe he didn't think that was a clear LOS. Maybe I should have waited until he stacked 2 units there. But anyway, I think 2 units were there. But none of these units on this right-hand side prep fired in the whole game. And look where they are.
There's nothing wrong with having a base of fire that allows you then to maneuver the rest of your force.
Right.
So that 9-2, that's what a 9-2's there for, basically.
Right.
As your base of fire. Because infantry combat is about fire and maneuver. You fix with the fire base, you fix and pin, and you flank or maneuver with the rest of your force.
Right. Is this the best position for the 9-2? I would say no. Do I want him in Y5? Hell yeah, I want him in Y5. Now I've got this, this, and this in my sights the entire time. I don't have a lot of fire here, but again, it could support over here if need to, and I do have that 1 hex covered. Not the strongest position, I have to agree, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it allowed my opponent, because I know that he's looking for the big -2 shots, he's looking for the big leaders. Even if he left everybody up here, you know, I have a sizable force. Can he afford to fire now? That's the question he has to ask himself, and my answer would be probably not. So we're going to go into the end game, which is undefined. There's nothing's going to be there. It's going to be us grokking the scenario at the end game. Guess what? Do we have to grok this shit over here on the left? Nope. Do we have to grok this shit down here? Nope. Because it doesn't matter what he does. He has one more movement phase. This 7 is not his turn. This 7 is my turn. He has turn 6. If he moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so what? I go 2, 4, get the building that I just lost. There's nothing else he can do. If he moves this unit over here, I move down there. He's not going to be... Can he kill the 4, 5, 8? Yeah, by about 15% chance. He's not going to take the building because they just leave Garen right there. He can't control the building. Can he try to CX bullshit over here? Maybe. But then I just move this unit over here and again secure these buildings or take this one down here that he vacates. So the bottom part of the map is game over. There's the bottom part of the map has been over since like turn 3 again. And I just have those units down there just to secure those buildings. He didn't make any offensive moves. He's just pot shot and waiting for that double snake eyes turn so he can make a move on me. Didn't really do anything. I thought that he would make a move earlier. He didn't. That kind of sealed his fate. But anyway, the only part of the game that matters is now here because this is pretty much locked up. Again, foregoing a snake eyes and a double break, this is locked up. So we're just going to focus on this, which will be interesting because he does have units in position that could fire on me. So we can grok it on that point. All right, gentlemen?
All right.
So that's a good solid. I think it's a good solid. I think we covered a lot of shit in that one. That was a brain burner for me, to be honest with you. You know,
good.
The route one down here was came out of the friggin' blue, to be honest. This came out of the blue, and I'm glad Pete.
Actually, it was a really good in-depth route analysis.
Yeah, I'm glad Pete pointed out
a lot
the
of
H3
ASL
move.
players, a lot of experienced ASL players still get route wrong.
Yep, all the time, gentlemen.
I'm one of them. In the heat of battle, you forget the basics sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Right. So that LOS from these units up here to H3 is key. And if you see that, you can use that to your advantage. So look at the avenues. Okay, can I route here? Can I route there? Okay, boom. You know.
And as a defender, before you fire, think of the possible consequences of you causing a DM. Sometimes causing a DM is not what you want to do.
Right. I'm learning that lately. I because I'm working with you guys. You guys are teaching me more than I'm teaching you. You may not believe that, but my game has changed a lot by talking with you guys, by looking at this shit.
Even though this is SK, my game's improved in SL, in ASL, because I'm actually taking that nanosecond to actually think of more options.
Yeah. Again, back to the basics. Go down to the basics of how the game operates. This routing, if you want to go into ASL, if you take what we're teaching you from these lessons right here, just the routing, if you throw everything out the door, screw residual fire, screw all of the crap, routing. The one thing you want to take out is how to route. Everything else is much simpler.
There's there's a very minor difference in ASL routing compared to SK routing.
Very, very minor. Very minor.
Very minor, and it's only to do with the initial part of determining the route destination.
Right. And prisoners.
However,
people usually ignore prisoners anyway. So, but this is the biggest carryover.
SK can absolutely teach you the most core part of routing, which will carry you in good stead when you move to ASL. And to be honest, if you know the routing rules in SK well, and you can and when you go to ASL, and you know and you just pick up the slight difference, which will be a lot easier because you already know the route, you will be ahead of a good 40 to 50% of the players playing ASL.
Of the ASL players, the ASL players,
the ASL players.
Not the SK players with the ASL, the ASL players. If you pull the routing, all the shit that we've covered in this session, in the routing session that we covered before, in John's game, that where he moved a guy in the middle of the road, he broke. There's a ton of buildings around, and we covered that. 95% of the SK players and ASL players would go to the buildings right next to them, right? John went to his destination 3 hexes away. That shit you will rarely see in an ASL game unless players have got the routing down. My routing has improved 100% by going over there with you guys. 100%. Because I didn't see all the things here. I didn't see this bullshit up over the corner. Pete saw that. I didn't see that. I just saw this over here.
And do you know why I picked that up? Because I've been watching this series.
There you go. Everyone learns. Everybody learns. We don't know it all. You guys don't know it all. Nobody knows it all except for maybe Klaus. You know?
Yeah. And
that's it.
He's a legend.
And that's why he's not here. I said, Klaus, you didn't show up, you scrub. And he says, go to hell. but Klaus is a legend. Klaus is right. But routing guys.
How many games have I played?
Yeah.
Bazillions. Way too many.
Yeah. Bazillions.
And I'm picking stuff up.
Right. Pete's played for 4 generations, and we still are picking stuff up. Again, I've played a lot of games, probably maybe 10% as much as Pete. But again, and I didn't actually have thought about what Pete says is 100% accurate. If you route better than the other guy, he's not going to like it. Your troops, when he breaks his troops, you're going to frustrate the living shit out of him when you route effectively with purpose, because those units are either going to come back, block guys, you'll be in position, you won't lose a building control, stuff like that. You could route them offensively. Let's say he was moving to a position to take your building away because you got no units in there. Let's say he DMs your guy. Now you get to move that guy into that building, which now he has to take another turn to go. Every little ounce of that routing section, you squeeze that freaking orange and get every drop out.
Knowing the route rules actually informs your attacking maneuver in the movement phase. Because the key, as Stu talked earlier about knowing where you want to be and knowing what's going to happen or what should happen or where you should be 2 turns ahead or a route phase ahead, actually allows you to plan your movement.
Right. Remember
in terms of the risk management side of, okay, so I break. Well, if I break, this is where I'm going to be. So I move in a position I move in it via a route through the terrain that will allow me to get to that position should I break.
Right. And guess what happens with that, guys? It changes your movement phase. It changes your movement phase into a pseudo route phase, and your route phase into a pseudo movement phase. And another thing, more importantly, especially in certain games, do you like it when your units break? Does anyone here like it when the units break? Raise your hand. You're a goddamn liar. But no. This way, you don't care if your units break because you've planned for him to possibly break and use that breaking to your advantage. So now, if you did raise your hand, I like it when my units break because, especially if it's at the end of his movement phase, he gets another movement phase after that if you could use that to your advantage. And that's what Pete was saying.
And also, one thing about moving in the route phase, he can't fire back.
Correct.
He can't stop you.
Nope, not at all.
I mean, he can interdict you. He can stop you from moving in certain hexes, but generally, yeah, he can't fire at you while you're routing.
Right. And if you have an 8 morale, you know, you could take 3 hexes of interdiction for all that. You know, it's unlikely that you'll take 3, but sometimes you might have to. 8's not bad. If you roll an 8, you're pinned. So what? But yeah, it's just understand that the movement phase is here, the route phase is here, but the defensive fire phase is just an intermediate between the two. The movement phase and route phase are kind of like spliced. It's like a, what do they call them? The Venn diagrams and bullshit like that. They overlap. They are not separate. They overlap. Use that overlapping indication, which most players do not. Most players do not use that overlapping section of the Venn diagram to their advantage.
It's more being aware of the possibilities in terms of risk management and things like that than actually going out, oh, I want my units to break. You don't want your units to break.
No.
But if they do break, and this is where it comes into risk management. Okay, if he needs to roll a 4 to get an effect that is likely to break me, all power to him.
Right.
All power to him.
Right. And remember that 4 that Pete pulls up is the same principles that we were talking about this left-hand side threat, right? My actual roll that I needed to roll with that 16 plus 4 was a 4. A 5 takes it to an 8, which is a 1 morale check. With this unit passes all day long. Well, 58% of the time all day long. So a 4 is what you're looking at from both targets, from Big Boy Elkin and from the 16 plus 4. You know, but like Pete says, if he rolls a 7 and it's a 2 morale check, yeah, you're gonna be feeling the heat. You'll be feeling the hurt. So anyway, we'll end it there. We'll take any questions you have. Anybody can freely answer the questions. Anybody can freely ask the questions of anything that we covered today. Was there something that say, oh, I just don't get that, I missed that, or hey, I think you made an error over here? It's possible that I made some errors. I'm sure I made some errors for sure. But if you guys have any questions, did you guys happen to see anything you guys did this week while you're playing your games or watching other games? I watched like probably 15 games a week in terms of just popping in, watching whatever, like a half turn, like 45 minutes while I'm doing something else while I'm editing, and then I pop out and you guys see me bounce around like the stupid ass red circle that you see in my game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, just on that red circle.
Yeah.
If you're not the phasing, i.e. the active player, don't use it.
Don't use it. Don't
use it because the only time you should be using that red circle is when you're defining what unit's firing, especially if you're on a big map. Right. On a big map where you're trying to see the whole board, or on long range shots where you can't it's not that easy to see the hex coordinates. Right. Or if you've got lots of units in a small area. Right. Use a circle.
Yeah. Active player. Only.
But only as the active player. If you're taking a shot, as you're speaking to your opponent, you can say the HMG and the 468 in, and you're having a problem reading the hex because there's lots of counters on the map, right?
Right.
You go this, in this hex.
Yeah.
And then you can mouse over it, and it'll bring up the hex coordinate as well.
Right.
But I'm not. You don't click away. You don't click all over the place. You don't control highlight other places.
Right. Right.
Just the units that are active at that point. And when it's not you, and when you're not actually doing an action, don't use it.
There you have it. We've completed all the logs up to this point here. Analyzed the full situation. Next time, we're taking that end game. We're going to go move. And the next one, we're going to do an attack. After we analyze which we think is the best way to cement the Russian win or cement the German win in this situation. Russians have 2 turns to do stuff. Germans have 1. So the Germans probably aren't going to move. Russians need to assault it as best they could. Bottom area is secured. Top left area is probably secured. Probably about 85% of the time. Can't push anybody over there anyway. Doesn't really matter. We got to let that play out as best as it can. So if you want to support the channel, if you like these videos, please join our Patreon network. That's listed below. We have different tiers of whatever you want to donate. Any tier is just fine. So your support is well appreciated. And there's a bunch of great guys that have already joined it. I appreciate their support. You see them at the end of every single video. And, just good respect, good appreciation for those guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Join us next time. Join us live Tuesdays, 17:30 Pacific Daylight Time. Or keep watching the videos. Double speed. We'll catch you later.